Hey folks, it's Cal, and just here to show you a video I'm sure everyone will greatly appreciate after so many years of having various videos explaining how to do this. But this is a video that explains how to remove the clutch release collar from the pressure plate on your VR4 or Evo clutch. So I've got a bunch of spares lying around at the moment. There's a different pressure plate that's gone in my car from an Evo because my car's a VR4 and I have a new one of these. I've got a mono-lock version of this which is stronger than this. But, so when you put your gearbox in, you will have, this will be part of your clutch assembly like this. It'll sit like this. Now when your gearbox comes to mate up, what happens is the throwout bearing with this little lip on it here is going to come up and it's going to clip into it. Like that. And now that we're in, right, our throwout bearing and our, so this obviously doesn't rotate, the clutch rotates, but I'm going to rotate this because I can. So basically, imagine this is stationary and the clutch is spinning around. This is the life of the throwout bearing. It does that forever, every time the engine's turning around, right? And when you pull on the, or push on the clutch pedal, what it does is it pulls this away, okay? So let's look how strong this is. No matter how hard I pulled this, I could not get it off. Technically I could if I was heaps and heaps of pressure, but it won't come off. It's really, really strong. So, and this is attached to the gearbox. So how do we get this off the clutch pressure plate? And everyone talks about, you come in from that little access hole in the gearbox and you slide your screwdriver in and twist it, right? I mean, I'll show you that right now. So the idea is you push this in, get the screwdriver in and twist it. Look, it just comes straight off. But why does it come off, right? So what I'm going to do is I'm going to zoom in now so you can have a closer view as to what this actually looks like. Alright, so let's have our gearbox come in. It's clipped in. Now we're going to do our clutch maintenance and we're going to try and get this off. So if we get the screwdriver in here, it's not doing anything because we're just wedging on that piece that's actually part of the assembly, right? We're wedging between itself. We have to get in between the throwout bearing and that lip of the collar. What's this? Right, it won't go. See? So now I have to push it in and do it. It just comes straight off. Again, let's do it again. If I don't push the clutch in, it won't come off. See? It's effectively locked into the pressure plate. If I push it in, what I'm doing is I'm getting past like a locking ring, right? So that I'm actually removing the throwout bearing from the collar whilst it has the ability to do so. If it's not in, it can't, right? There's no ability for it to be released when it's out here. So you push it in, and the way you push that in is with the clutch lever. So you'll be reaching outside the gearbox and pushing the lever to push the clutch fork all this way, and then you have to get in between the throwout bearing and the collar and then twist, and it comes straight out. So let's actually have a bit of a closer look at this. So this is your throwout bearing and this is your collar. Geez, I wish that would focus. Alright, and we clip it in. So basically, as long as there's no friction, the pressure plate's not here. Essentially, as long as this isn't locked into the pressure plate, any twisting of it, so if you pull it straight, it won't come, right? I'm pulling it straight, but as soon as I get under one edge of it and just pull it up, it just comes straight off. Now, let's talk about why these break. So on a much stronger clutch pressure plate, look, this is made of a couple of pieces. I don't know if you can see this. I'm gonna have to try and do this somewhere else because I can't see that either. Have a look. You've got this outer ring and this inner ring, and this inner ring is effectively clipped into the larger piece. And if you bend these or put pressure on them enough, right, they will break, and once this ring here breaks, your clutch will disengage and you won't be able to engage the clutch again. Now thankfully you'll still be able to get the gearbox off, but if you're on the side of the road, that isn't helpful. and that's why I've installed what's called a monolock onto my new clutch. So this is an AST monolock on my Evo clutch pressure plate, and you might not be able to see very well, but it's a one-piece design. That's why it's called a monolock. So it's one piece of high-grade spring steel, so it can't separate into two pieces. It can take a lot more pressure before it will actually effectively snap or break. Unfortunately, that one part is $180 something, so it's not cheap. What I can show while we're here though is that reason why the clutch release collar, in this case the monolock, can't come out unless this thing's pushed all the way in. And I'm not sure if you can tell, but basically these parts of the collar, they have to spread outwards when you try and release the throwout bearing, and as they are right now, they're inside a ring inside the clutch pressure plate and they can't spread. So when the thing's like this, it cannot release. It'll only release from the throwout bearing when it's in, meaning those actual little fingers can spread out, and that's why you can only get the clutch throwout bearing and the gearbox off when this is pressed in, and then you insert a screwdriver between this part and the throwout bearing and twist. I hope that's been really helpful.